Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's up, gang? It's your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Happy Sunday to you. Back with another live video on you for this Sunday's morning. As we preview Bears versus Lions this morning, we're going to have a great show for you today. We're going to go all the way up to about half past the hours. Give me time to prep, get set up to watch the game myself. Listen, we're going to talk Bears, Lions for the next hour and a half. Offense, defense, what they expect. Can Justin Fields tame the Lions? Can Luke Getsy and Justin Fields in this offense continue the scoring tirade they've been on for the last 3 or 4 weeks and continue to build? How will Chase Claypool continue to grow in this offense and add? What is it going to open up for the other wide receivers in this offense? Right? Will defense begin to respect our passing game, our two-speed receivers on the outside, and allow that to open up the run game? We're going to talk about that, and this defense is so much more on the show. So snap in, do me a favor as you come in, run those likes up, man. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also follow me on Twitter, Bears360_Coach T. Hey, let's sit back, grab you some coffee, grab you some whatever, grab you some drink, and let's get into it. Y'all know what's next. Cue the intro, maestro.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I feel my teeth for diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
Y'all heard the man. Past, present, future. We bear down here on Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T, man. Getting into it this morning, man. We're just excited, man. It's game day. We have Bears versus Lions this morning. So much going on with the show. I've invited some guests to join me on the show. Hopefully they can join me a little bit later. But we're going to get right into it, man. Before we do that real fast, let me do this and give a huge shout out to all my field soldiers out there. Shout out to my field soldiers, man. That's everybody that subscribed to the channel over the last year or so. All 2,800 of you. Listen, man, if you're watching this show on the playback, do me a favor. Like and subscribe this video. Run the algorithm up, man. Join the family, man. We love to have you. Listen, the difference between our show here and other shows is we break down Bears football from a coach's perspective. The X's and O's football, not a whole lot of conjecture, not a whole lot of over-opinionated tirades, rants, over-emotionalism, and sensationalism. We get down to the brass tacks of X's and O's football, what you can expect. And then, like a lot of my followers have said, man, we change how you see the game of football, how you watch the game of football. Watch the game of football from a strategic perspective. Not always following the football itself, but understanding the ins and outs of the game. Offensive line play, running back play, protection schemes, wide receiver routes combinations, understanding DBs, the defensive backs or defensive coverages, understanding defensive fronts, understanding linebacker responsibility, and defensive gap fits. That's the difference between our show and a lot of shows. So if you want to know more about the game of football, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can tap into what we got going on here at Chicago Bears 360. Now, without further delay, we're going to get right into it. Shout out to my man Derek Carter in the comments section. I'll give you a huge shout out being first in the comments section. We're going to get it straight into it. The Bears, Chicago Bears, coming off of a continuous losses. I think it's 3 straight losses, right? Over the last 3 weeks, sitting at 3-6, but they have all of the Chicago Bears fans excited because of the growth and development of one Justin Fields. 2 straight loses a 2 straight, 3-6 record. All of Chicagoland, all of Bears Nation, because we know that extends far beyond Chicagoland, Illinois. All the Bears Nation is excited because of the performance of one. I'm gonna back up and give credit the performance and the growth of Luke Getsy as an offensive coordinator, and then 2, the performance of Justin Fields, and 3, this offensive lineman and the group collectively as a whole, the growth and the development of this offensive unit over the last 2 or 3 weeks, right? Although we're losers of 2 or 3, the growth and development of this offense has our fan base excited, and rightfully so. Now, me as a coach of the game, I'm more excited, honestly, about the growth and development of Luke Getsy as an offensive coordinator, because as he goes, this offense goes. As he grows as a coach, this offense grows. So we are beginning to do more and see more from our offensive coordinator in terms of understanding how to put this team and these players in position to maximize their skill set. Now, I want to go jump straight into that because Swifty did a great job of this weekend doing a video on this, and it's something I've said on Twitter throughout the week, right? And I want to kill the narrative of coaches having to redesign, or Luke Getsy redesigning this offense to fit Justin's skill set. Now, had he done that, there'd be nothing wrong with that. But listening to his press conferences, I'm going to tell you, I'm getting the impression, I'm getting the feeling, and I totally understand it because it's semi-disrespectful. It's disrespectful to suggest that you can just go in the room and draft up an entirely new offense over a long week and, redesign your offense over a long week, right? The coming off of the Commanders game, the loss versus the Commanders, that he just took the week and redesigned his offense. I'm going to give you guys an insight. As a former offensive coordinator, you're always evolving your offense throughout the season. As you go throughout the season, you're watching film, right? And you already have certain things in your formations. But one of the things I would do is at the high school level, I would I start with the foundations, right? You have to build the foundational language and concepts of your offense, right? And teach that first. You got to teach the shifts and motions, all the pre-snap stuff, so people will know where to be when they're supposed to be to set defenses up and to put them in compromising positions, right? So you have to learn and go through all that first, and then you start building upon the foundation that you lay in the offseason over summer camp, and you started adding things as the season develops. But you have to develop a strong foundation first. And what I think Luke Getsy did was he developed a strong foundation in establishing his run concepts, right? The outside zone, the inside zone, the duos, right? The power gap schemes, right? The power gap concepts, all the pulling and counter concepts, right? The pulling of the guards, the pulling of the tackles, the pulling of wide receivers from one side of the line of scrimmage to the others. All that stuff is hard, and that's foundational for your offense. It helps create an identity for your offense, right? So, running with the narrative like a lot of our drunk uncles are doing in the writer's room, that he redesigned the offense over a long week is simply not plausible, because I'm telling you, there's just not enough time, right? This is not Madden. This is not drafting up plays in the sand. There's no whiteboard in the room that says, you just don't have a whiteboard in there and say, hey, oh, that's a great idea. We're going to run this play. No, what happens throughout the season is if you're watching film and you're watching your opponent's film and looking for what you can potentially take advantage of in your next game versus your opponent, you'll see a play that works, and that's great. What you ask yourself is, do we have a formation that we've been running, or we have a formation that we've shown over the previous weeks that looks like this formation? The alignment, first of all, the setup. Do I have a formation that looks like what, say, Baltimore has run? Say, for example, going into the New England game. Do I have a formation that looks similar to a play that, New England might have run over the previous weeks that looks like something that, this graphic just doesn't want to cooperate today. My graphics are acting up, y'all, so y'all just bear with me. Does it look like anything that this formation looks like anything that Baltimore has run over the previous weeks? You ask yourself that question, right? And if you say the answer to that question is yes, then you say, okay, if I have that formation and I've shown it over the previous week and I don't have that play in my playbook, I'm going to run my play that's similar in my playbook to that play, or I'll add that wrinkle to my offense so we can have some success there, especially if it's something that the previous team, the previous opponent has had success with. You really want to go with it then. So it's not just simply, oh, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's going to be, hey, is it something that I've had success with? Does it something I have a formation in my playbook? Was the previous opponent successful in this? Extremely successful in it. And then here's the thing. You're not necessarily looking for the play itself, but you're looking for the concept. The concept. Is it outside zone? Is it toss, sweep? Is it duo? Is it fold? Is it power? Is it counter? What is the concept? Because the concept is repeatable. The play, they'll adjust to. I can't emphasize that enough. The play they might have seen on their own. You got to keep in mind, the other team is watching film too. They know their mistakes. So they'll watch the film and be like, hey, we got to fix that. We got to correct that. So it's better to know the concept, right? If you understand the concept, you can still run the concept without running the exact play. Here's the other thing you have to be careful of as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller, as a coach. You can't just run individual plays. Here's the other reason why I feel like Luke might have got frustrated with that narrative is because as a coach, you can't just go in there and run one play and pick a play from another team and say, hey, I'm a copycat off that team, and I'm just going to run that play. At least a wise coach doesn't. What you have to do is you have to install the concept, right? You have to install the concept, and then you have to install the counter plays. Listen to me, the counter plays. So say, for instance, if I'm going to run QB counter, right? If I'm going to run QB counter or QB power or QB counter where you have guards and tackles pulling in front of the quarterback, he drops back, he snaps the ball, he drops back like he's going to run it, and then he just runs the ball and follows the guard and the tackle on a run play. Okay, you can have that play, but what if your opponent has already made adjustments to that? They watch the film, they say, hey, we can't allow teams to do this to us in the future. We're going to see this again. What if they watched film and said, okay, and they've installed something to stop that? You have to have another play, right? You have to have another play off of that. So I'll have say a QB power, QB counter, but then I'll go with some kind of play action or some kind of fake motion off of that. For example, a lot of teams saw that we like to run the jet sweep. All right, okay. So teams are going to start to adjust to the jet sweep. Okay, so you need to stay 1 week ahead of the defense and have a counter play, have a follow-on play. Let's call it a follow-on play off of the jet sweep motion that allows your quarterback to keep the ball, or you use the jet sweep motion as play action and run some quick slant or some quick out opposite of the direction that the jet sweep motion is going. That's the kind of stuff you have to have in your mind as an offensive play caller. And again, you have to stay 1 step, 1 week ahead of the opponent, the next opponent, not the one you're playing. You have to stay 1 or 2 weeks ahead to keep your offense evolving. And this is what's encouraging about what Luke Getsy has done, or what he's doing with his offense, right? He's starting to, now that he's laid his foundation, now he's starting to evolve, and now he's starting to be able to do and call a lot of the stuff that he's probably wanted to call all along, but the offense wasn't just there yet. Now, you want to add the fact that we just got a new wide receiver. We just got a new player that came into the fold, and now that opens up even more opportunities for this offense. It opens up more opportunities, more game plans for this offense, and I'm going to show you maybe real fast. I'll show you and give you an example of how, if I can get it up on the screen while we're discussing it. So the addition of players like Chase Claypool will open up opportunities for this offense. And I'm going to pull up something real fast. I'm going to work on, see if I can't get this up and open up and show you how this opens up opportunities and give you a visual, if you will, of how it opens up opportunities for the offense. So not only that, the addition of y'all got to keep in mind, this offense is just now, it's barely scratching the surface of what it's going to be, because the offense was already just now taking off. It was just now hitting its stride with the New England game, right? But now, with the addition of Chase Claypool, defensive coordinators are going to have to make decisions about how they want to guard this offense, how they want to keep everything in front of them in terms of their safety play, right? So I'm gonna bring some visuals up, and hopefully this gives you an idea of what I'm talking about, and how this strategically changes the game for Luke Getsy and how he calls play. And I'm just gonna bring up a still photo, and hopefully this works out for me, that we don't have to get too crazy. My graphics still don't want to act right, but we're gonna flow with it anyway. I just want to bring up a still photo again, just to give you a visual already, right? A lot of teams, and this is something you can look out for in this week games. This is how a lot of teams want to play us, because we have the top rushing attack in the NFL, right? And regardless of whether it's with the quarterback or with the running back, a lot of teams want to play us with this single high safety look, like the Dolphins does here, right? The intention there is to get as many bodies in the box, if you will, as possible. As many bodies around the line of scrimmage as possible. So if you count right here, you got 5 guys, 6, 7, right? And with a spread formation, I like to call, this is what I call ace gun. This formation is what I call ace gun, right? Where you have 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 running back. You have a slot. This is one of my favorite formations in all of football, because you compromise the box with this formation. Because this receiver is in the slot, you have to decide whether you're going to play this formation with a nickel cornerback, or whether you're going to stay in base and keep a linebacker in the game and potentially compromise your defense if you have a linebacker guarding this slot right here. So you have to decide whether you're going to let me run the ball down your throat, or if you're going to guard this receiver out here with a nickel and compromise yourself. But this is all meant, single high safety is all meant to add additional bodies to get them closer to the line of scrimmage, to make us to stop the run, right? To stop the run. And usually when you have this single high safety look back here, usually that's going to be man coverage or cover 3. Now, if you've been following me long, you already know how to read coverages. You should already know how to read coverages. Anybody watching the show, do me a favor and drop the acronym that I use to tell people how to read coverages, right? So we got the single high safety look. You're going to be in man coverage or cover 3, sometime a cover 3 match. You can do a combo coverage with this, like a cover 5, which is a combination of 2 on the short side, 2 on the long side of the field, 2 to the field side, 3 on the back side. But this is all meant to stop man coverage, right? I mean, stop the run. So let me get back on screen real fast as I talk about this, right? So we're going to see a lot of single high safety, cover 3, right? Meant to stop the run, right? But let me talk about real fast how having Chase Claypool on the team now compromises this from an X's and O perspective, right? If you're going to run this single high safety look, right? If you're going to run this single high safety look, then you got to keep in mind, and up to the top of your screen up here, this is Chase Claypool. What you have is Chase Claypool pretty much one-on-one with this corner right here. This corner's responsibility is all this field right here, the outer third. This cornerback right here's responsibility is the outer third. And you're saying this single safety, if both of these guys run 9 routes, go routes, or fly routes, right? Which I hate people saying. I hate the word fly route. But if these people go routes or 9 routes, you're saying this safety can get from the middle of the field all the way to the sideline, or this sideline, meaning if he takes false steps, either way, he's going to be able to recover and get to this man before he gets beat to be able to help out. This is the danger. Somebody got it right. Oh, shout out to D Carr, man. Shout out to Derek Carr. I appreciate that. SDL is exactly right. I'm going to get to that in a minute. SDL is exactly right. That's the answer. SDL. Safety. The safeties. Count the safeties. The depth of the cornerback. The depth of the cornerback from the line of scrimmage. And the leverage. Which angle is he pointing? Is he pointing towards the quarterback, or is he pointing towards, or is he lined up facing the wide receiver? If he's trying to influence the wide receiver, all right, if he's looking like he's going to bail on the snap of the ball, then he's bailing to his outer thirds. It's probably cover 3. So Derek Carter is exactly right. SDL. Count the safeties. Look at the cornerback depth and understand the leverage he's playing. Is he trying to bail? Is he trying to influence the wide receiver inside? Or is he using the sideline as an extra defender to help, defend the player, right? But getting back to the point I was making, if Detroit is going to play us with a single high safety, what the risk that they are taking is Chase is not going to beat his man. Darnell is not going to get loose on his man to the outside for a deep pass, right? Or Pettis or anybody on the outer third is not going to beat that man. That safety has to guard sideline to sideline, right? This is the compromise. Now, if we beat them, if we start beating teams with this look too far, what they're going to do is they're going to have a too high safety look. They're going to have a too high safety looks to avoid that, right? To mitigate that risk. What happens then? What happens then is they're taking a player out of the box, right? They're taking a play out of the box. Now we have a 7-man box, and now Demo can go off. So that's what we're looking for today. We're looking for how's Detroit going to play this team? How's Luke Getsy going to continue to take advantage of however many safeties they're showing us? How many to box? Does Luke Getsy have audibles in that allows Justin to make adjustment based on the number of safeties they're playing us with, right? If I'm Luke Getsy, I have automatic play calls in that, hey, Justin, depending on the downs and the distance, if you come up to the line of scrimmage and I have a play call and say, I have a play call, and you look up and you see a 7-man box, 2 high safeties. Hey, you can audible to outside zone. You can audible to inside zone. You can audible to something that's a quick hitter that allows us to just gain yards. Y'all remember all the Peyton Manning, all the things Peyton Manning would do at the line of scrimmage with the Omaha stuff? That's all he was doing. All Peyton Manning was doing was checking the number of safeties, counting the number of men at the box, and determining what's the best play to put his offense in and running that play, right? Depending on the downs and distance. Right? If it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and I see you got 2 high safeties and I got the best running game in the league and you got 2 high safeties, I'm running the ball. I'm checking to a run and I'm running that play. It's just that simple, right? Another thing that Luke did again a lot versus Miami, because they went with this single high safety look, is he ran a lot of screens. Because he's like, hey, if y'all going to sit back in single high safety, I'm going to run a lot of screens. So I'm going to show you something real fast also, that the way you attack this look. And I see everybody in the chat. I'm going to get to the comment section in a minute and just say what's up. Another way you attack this single high safety look is you have to run the ball off tackle, right? You try to get to the perimeter. So you either run toss sweeps, where you toss the ball to the running back and let them run the ball to the perimeter, right? So you got to attack the outside. You got to attack the perimeter. You got to attack the outside either through the run the ball off tackle with your outside zone, with your stretch plays. You run the ball at your tackles. You run the ball at your tight ends and your tackles. Or you toss and get to the outside. You also throw screens. You also throw a lot of quick screens. You also throw a bunch of outs. So if I have Darnell Mooney right here, run a 5-yard out. So you have this guy run off because they're in cover 3. The cornerback has to go with him, right? So you run him off and have Darnell Mooney run a 5-yard out behind him. You ran this corner off. Then you get Darnell Mooney. You get your slot 101. You get to the outsides. You play ball right in this area right here on both sides. You play ball. You stay away from this safety. You play ball over here. Now, what's going to happen throughout the game, if you're running the ball and you're beating these guys up here, right, in the perimeter, that's going to make them adjust their safety play, right? And then that's when you try to hit your double moves. This is a play that I want y'all to look for today. I want y'all to look for this play today because I kept calling it last week as I was watching the game when I was hanging out in Chicago. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that for Coach T's playbook. I'm going to draft that up for Coach T's playbook and as a play for y'all to look out for today. Let's do this real fast. Hopefully my graphics will participate with me today. They'll work with me because right now it's giving me a daggum hard time. It won't even let me delete or change the graphic right here. And I'm so annoyed by that. I'm going to start putting Switcher on blast, bro. Anyway, let me see if I can do something here without ruining the show. Nope. All right. Y'all killing me. Look, man, let's do this real fast. Y'all know where it go down at. It go down in the DMs. It goes down in the DM. I'll say it. It goes down in the DM. All right, I'll sing it myself. All right, cool. Listen, we did that. Do me a favor. Run those likes up, man. I want to get the algorithm bust. I want to get as many people join the show as possible today. But let me get to the comment section. I want to give some shout outs to all my field soldiers in the comment section. Say what up to y'all. What up, my guy, Matt Ty? I see you. What's good, my guy? Derek Carr with the right acronym for the show. When I told y'all what's the acronym I use to read coverage, to teach y'all to read coverages. See, this is the enjoyment for the show for me right here. I'm a teacher at heart. And when you guys are getting it, this is what I love, man. Because I know I have a smarter football audience than the next show. SDL. Carter, Derek, if you're still watching, put in the comments for me what SDL actually means, man. Take it to the next level for me, and I'm going to highlight you on the show. You got the acronym right, but take it to the next level for me. I gave the notes away, but drop it in there for me. I am Scocks. What up with you, my boy? Did you see the Jenkins, Harry, and Velus are inactive today? No, I did not see that. That is breaking news. First of all, breaking news. I did not see that. Came straight downstairs to start the show today. So there you have it. Shout out to Scotts for that one. Jenkins, Harry, and Velus are inactive today. Not so surprised with Velus, but Harry and Jenkins especially surprised, and that's going to affect our run game. That's going to affect our pass protection a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see who they plug in at right guard. Perhaps Ja'Tyre Carter gets his first start today, or perhaps Schofield moves over to right guard. But something to look out for as we start the game today. Who's playing at that right guard position? Harry at wide receiver, I'm not so surprised and not so much concerned about, other than for chemistry's sake, and then other than for the fact that he was just now getting his legs under him and getting going, and this offense was starting to get some continuity. A little bit of concern there, but I think Byron Pringle is back today. If I'm not mistaken, somebody update me on that. But Byron is back today. So there may be a little bit of chemistry concerns because, again, now we're shuffling the offensive line again. Now we're shuffling the wide receiver room again. That wide receiver room is a little bit stacked, so I'm not so much concerned about that. The interesting thing will be what happens at that right guard position. And are the guys able to just jump in and start playing ball? Logan says, I feel like they're going to have something interesting at goal line red zone to get Chase in the end zone this week. I can't see the bottom of that comment. Yeah, I think they're going to have all kinds of packages in for all the guys now. Again, I said that earlier that, Chase opens up this offense for the entire group. He opens up the offense for the entire group. I'm actually expecting to see Darnell Mooney begin to go off because in the Miami game, more than once I saw Miami roll that single high safety. They rolled that safety over top of Chase because they were worried about Chase blowing by their cornerback. So if they're rolling that safety over top of Chase, Darnell's going to go crazy. Darnell's going to go begin. He should have opportunities to go crazy. Let me put it that way. By the way, I want to put this up for me because he got him right. Derek said SDL is safety, depth, leverage, and cornerback safety, count the number of safeties, cornerback, depth, and leverage. So he got it right. Shout out to you for that, man. Put that in. That's in your toolbox right there, Derek. You can smoke your friends when y'all debating football and stuff like that. And my guy, Baki, I can't forget about my guy, Baki, Day One, A1, in the chat. Mooney, Claypool, and St. Brown, Pringle, Pettis are the wide receivers active today. So we still got a group to hey, man, as long as that dude Claypool and Mooney's there, we got something to work with, right? We got something to work with. But I want to leave this comment up right here because I want to talk about the wide receivers a little bit. Of course, Pettis with the epic fail last week and not converting on that 2-minute drive last week and that catch. One thing I love to see, man, and I was down on him too, but what I love to see when players acknowledge their mistakes but have the right mentality towards fix it. If you watch the locker room interviews on the Bears channel this week, I love the fact that Pettis didn't run from it. I mean, not Pettis. St. Brown didn't run from it. Did I say Pettis had to drop? St. Brown had to drop, and he didn't run from it. Your boy said, listen, man, I hated it. I couldn't sleep. It sucked. I effed up. But I've been doing extra time on the Jugsman team to make sure and ensure that doesn't happen to see again. That's all you can expect from a football team. That's all you can expect from a football player, right? And this team has been that type of team. It's been a build team versus a instant throw it in the pot, mix it, and just put a product out on the field. You know what I'm saying? If you are the instant grits type of person, you're the Burger King type of fan, this team is not for you. This team is going to disappoint you every week. But if you're the type that enjoys processes, seeing teams come together, building something, watching something develop and grow, watching some kind of process evolve into what it's going to be, then enjoy the journey. This is the type team. This is what that's going to be. And the question not if they're going to be good, but what steps do they take to today in evolving into what they're going to be? How does Mooney play off of how teams try to adjust to Claypool being on the other side of him? You know, can Pringle come in and get his stride? Can St. Brown evolve and grow? Can Pettis grow? Pettis and St. Brown growing up in this offense is going to be key to that wide receiver room, right? Can we start talking offensive line? Can Jones, what's the other Jones? The offensive tackle. Man, why am I having an old man moment here? Can Jones continue to grow in this position? At the left tackle position, can he begin to put on some strength and slow down opponents' bull rushes? He's been great versus speed rushers, but not so great versus power rushers. I think we said that was potential. We had the potential for that prior to the season. But can he continue to evolve? Can Cody Whitehair continue to hold it down at the left guard and pick up steam and get his legs under him? How is Sam Mustipher going to perform at the center spot, right? Can he continue to develop and grow, right? Another question is, how many weeks do we have before we could potentially get Patrick back? We got 9 weeks to grow this team, grow this offense. You know, can we get Patrick back potentially and add him back to the mix, right? Now, what's the extent of the injury with Jenkins, right? But, you know, does Reef continue to start at the right guard? You know what I'm saying? What's happening at the battle? I mean, Reef at the right tackle. What's happening with the battle at the right tackle position? Has Reef pretty much staked his claim on that right tackle position, and Borum's on the outside end. Braxton Jones. There you go. I'm having a moment here. Braxton Jones continue to grow at that left tackle position. You know what's going on, right? I'm not worried. I'm gonna skip right over David Montgomery, and I've challenged him on Twitter. I'm gonna tag him. I'm watching film next week. I'm putting every Bears fan on notice. I called him out directly on Twitter, and I'm tagging him every time. So I'm gonna skip right over David Montgomery and jump straight to Khalil Herbert, because everybody seems to be riding Khalil Herbert's and all the conversation about him being a better running back than David Montgomery. But I pointed it out on film over and over again, and the fact that he cost us a game last week with his poor blocking skills. Can Khalil Herbert grow up? Can Khalil Herbert grow up as a blocker on both offense and in special teams? If he's not going to block, he shouldn't be on that outside wing position on special teams on the punt team anyway. Y'all should have already saw that he was a piss poor blocker on offense and not put him on special teams in that position in the first place. But can he grow up as a running back and become a better pass blocker, right? That's the growth. Can you be unselfish and block for your quarterback, right? And not always look to get the ball on a dump down or the swing pass or a check down on offense. Can you help those offensive linemen keep your quarterback clean and pass pro? That's his biggest problem, not running the ball. Like I said before, I can find a senior running back somewhere in the state of Florida, in Broward, Hillsborough, Orange, Duval County, that could run a football behind an NFL offensive line. That's easy. What makes you special is you can stick your head in there on 3rd and long or 3rd and short when we need a key play on 1st down and stop a blitzing linebacker. That's what we need, right? That's what we need. So Khalil Herbert, the challenge is out. I'm going to continue to challenge you on Twitter to be a better football and an unselfish teammate and be great. Be great. Somebody asked a question. I think they were doing an interview on the Bears channel this week, video content they created off the Bears channel this week where they interviewed Khalil Herbert, the one girl that does the interview. And she said, how did you get drafted in the 6th round? I'll tell you how he got drafted in the 6th round. Go watch his pass blocking tape. Go watch his special teams blocking tape where he cost us the game last week, right? I hate to pile up on the kid, but this is a challenge. This is a challenge. And this is also a statement for Bears fans to get off this crazy narrative of him being better, a better football player than David Montgomery. He's simply not. He's a better runner of the football, perhaps, but not a better football player. Not at all. Not at all. I would benches, you know what, so fast. If I would have saw that play and some of that blocking, but I digress. Anyway, I get passionate about stuff like that. Anyway, last but not least, can Justin Fields continue to grow as a quarterback, right? Can he speed up his clocks in terms of understanding this offense, go through his progression, get through progressions 1 through 4, 1 through 5, whether he's reading coverages, whether his progressions are left to right, right to left, high to low, right? A lot of fans don't understand about reading progressions, right? Progressions left to right, right? You read left to right, right to left, high to low. Can he get through those progressions faster, which he's starting to do, right? His ability to pick up blitzers, right? And I said this, and they said it actually in the press conference. Somebody leaked it or somebody commented on it. Chase Claypool did in the locker room interview. He said, I'm just now getting used to some of the secondary cadences that Justin has. This is one of the things I called out in the offense and in the preseason about Justin that I noticed on tape. Last year, if you go back and watch Justin's tape, right, he wasn't coached properly. Most of the plays Justin was called for Justin. When Justin started a play, his pre-play sequence, most of the plays Justin called for the ball on the first count. Said hut, snap the ball. Said hut. He was giving his defensive line, blitzing linebackers, an advantage because they weren't switching up the snap count. To hear Chase Claypool say in the locker room interview that we actually have secondary cadences is a growth of this offense. It's growth, it's maturity, it's what you should be doing. Because if you have secondary cadences, if you're going on 2 and on 3 and you have different cadences, it allows you not only to it makes the defensive line and blitzing linebackers respect your cadence, but it also gives you an advantage because if you give a hard count on the first count, the linebackers will flinch and they will reveal where the blitz is coming from. So if he goes on 2, said hut, right? The first hut, if they flinch, you'll be able to tell who's going, right? Who's coming on a blitz. And if you need the audible out of that play, if you realize you're not in a good play, then you can go and say, okay, I don't like this play versus that look. You can do one or two things. You can adjust your protection up front because a lot of people don't know that's quarterback's responsibility too, right? You can adjust your protection up front, right? So say you got blitzing linebackers coming from the right. They're coming from the right, and you don't have enough bodies over there. You can tell your tight end, stay, or have you have a call for that, right? Stay, robber, right? You can slide your protection over that way to the numbers, right? So in my offense, I have a rain or a lightning call. So rain means you slide the protection right. Lightning means you slide the protection left, right? Lightning is in the sky, rain comes from the sky. So it's a pass play. So you slide the protection to the right or left. Rain. If the numbers is coming from the right, you slide the protection to the right. Numbers are coming from the left, you slide protection to the left. You do a 3-by-2. So 3 guys go right, 2 guys on the backside, man up, and you're able to pick up all the body. Your cadence allows you to do all that stuff. You do all that with your cadence. So you have to have multiple cadence to allow you to reveal what's coming. It's so much that happens, right, before a play is actually snap of the ball, before a play is started, that fans don't see, right? So that's all tools in his toolbox. And then you snap the ball, and then you go through progressions, right? So can he continue to evolve in all that pre-snap operations, his process, right? Understanding how to make protection adjustments, right? Or audible, protect the play, or audible out of the play if you're really in a bad way and you don't like the play. Check, 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 or you go easy, right? You go check, 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 or easy, right? Easy is hold up, y'all calm down, don't snap the ball, right? Check, check, check. Check means we checking the play, and then they'll go whatever the call is for the audible. Blue may mean right, a left play, or orange. You might, so for the Bears, we blue and orange. I'll go blue and orange. Blue might mean a run play to the right or left. Orange may be run play to the right? Or I might have white, right? White may be a pass play, a certain pass play, and then you give out the nomenclature. You'll give out the numbers, right? You'll give out the numbers. You'll go, blue to the left. We're going to go blue 35, right? Blue 37, blue 35. If blue's to the left, right, 35 is 35, third back, 5 hole. That might be a stretch play. Outside zone. Blue, check, check, check. You go easy, right? Check, check, check. That means I'm checking a play. Then you go blue 35, outside stretch day, and run your play. See, we don't hear about, if nobody tells you about none of all this stuff, you'll never know. You'll never know. And that's the difference. That's the difference between Chicago Bears 360 and a lot of these other shows out here. I'm just saying. I just got in my bag right there. Y'all saw that right there. I was in my bag there for a moment. Anyway, I had a coaching moment, right? I had a flashback of both playing and coaching the game. But all those are part of it. Can Justin continue to evolve in all that? Again, it's not just lining up and running a play. It's just not lining up. It's not parking lot football. It's not Madden. And I also said this, right? One pass play can give you about 6 coverages, right? Starting out the season, one pass play can give you about 6 different coverages, right? How do you narrow those 6 different coverages down? You narrow those downs with pre-snap motions and formations and evolving your offense over time. I'll give you an example, right? Because we have a great running game, it helps narrow down the types of coverages Justin can expect. At the beginning of the season, of course, we were all over the place because we didn't know how defense was going to play us. Once we established the run game, we narrowed down the number of coverages defense would potentially play us in pass play by having a great running game. How do we do that? Because we have a great running game, defenses want to play single high safety. Well, now that cuts your coverages down in half because there's only so many things you can do out of single high safety. It's going to be man coverage, cover three match. You might throw a cover 5 in there or something like that. So now instead of Justin coming up to the line of scrimmage and saying, I don't know what I see, he can say, okay, process of elimination, single high safety, corners lining up over here, inside leverage. He's at 7 yards. That's cover 3. Oh, by the way, Luke sends a man in motion, right? And if the motion man doesn't trail, the motion defender doesn't trail, right? Now he knows he's in cover 3 for sure. See, fans were hard on him at first. Excuse me. I have a little bit of something going on right here. Fans were hard on him at first, right? But now they're starting to narrow it down because we have games, we have film, we have processes, it's growing. So now that was 120 or so looks from 20 plays, 6 times one pass play, 20 plays is 120 different looks. Now that narrows in half because we established the run game. So instead of having 120 different outcomes, now we have about 60. Can Justin continue to evolve is what I'm getting at. Can he continue to grow at that? That's the question, right? Now, I'm going to do this real fast because I promised to do it, and then we're going to get to it before game time because we're almost at it. Let me see. I want to have a moment right here, right? I want to have a Nostradamus type moment right here if I can get my mouse to work. Where you at, Mr. Mouse? Come on. Oh, here we go. All right, let me have a predictive moment right here, right? Let me get this queued up for y'all, and I'm going to draft something out that y'all can expect to see at some point. We actually ran this play last year. It's one of my favorite adjustments to a lot of cover 3, right? It's one of my favorite adjustments to a lot of cover 3, and I'm going to attempt to draft this up for y'all today. And expect to see this play. Expect to see this play at some point. Maybe today, right? Expect to see this play sometime today. Let me get this to work right. All right, we got one sheet, one play. I ain't did this in a while, so. All right, here we go. Let's draft this up. Y'all going to expect to see this play at some point, right? This is my expectation, right? So y'all told y'all my favorite formation is like a loose spread gun formation. So we'll draft that same formation up that they show versus Miami. Ace right gun. Ace right gun. Yep, slot is off. X is on. How many people we got in the backfield right here? 1, 2, 3. Let's pull him. Let's pull. We got to pull somebody off the line of scrimmage. Let's pull a tight end off, right? Y'all know the rule for numbers in the backfield. Hopefully by now, you got to have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, cool. I'll tell you what. Let's put the tight end back on the line of scrimmage. Let's move the X off. Expect to see this play at some point. Some version of this play. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Free safety. Let's bring him down about. We're going to go to single high safety look. We're going to go to single high safety look. Backers to the outside. I'm not going to do too much adjusting to the backers. This is versus 3-4. All right, cool. I'm going to switch this play up a little bit, right? We're going to go with a trips look. We're going to go with a trips look. First of all, versus trips, I'm gonna keep Chase Claypool on the backside over here, away from the trips. Why? Because I gotta compromise the defense. If I put Chase Claypool on the backside over here at the X, the defensive coordinator has to decide whether he's compromised. Are you gonna allow this cornerback to play on the island versus Chase Claypool by himself? Or are you going to roll this safety over to cheat him over and give him help over the top, right? It's suicide, right? Now you're already compromised, but I'm going to do it anyway. If I'm him, I'm rolling this safety over a little bit to help out with Chase Claypool. But this is the play I'm expecting to see. So we've set this up all last week. We set this up all last week versus Miami. Expect to see this play. We're going to go with a hitch. Hitch wheel seam. Hitch. You're going to have this guy fake like he's going to get the screen. Right? I don't like that line. Well, For the sake of argument, let's keep it. Right? He's going to come like he's faking to get the hitch. I can draw that line better than that. I'm a perfectionist. I'm an artist. Artiste. We're going to go with the hitch. Right? So we've thrown the screen all week last week. We've thrown the screen ad nauseum. Right? Hitch. We're going to run the seam. Hitch. Seam wheel. Hitch seam wheel. Right? Seam. The seam is going here. This guy's going to run up the seam. And this guy's going to run the wheel. This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. You're going to see some variation of this, I guarantee you, over the next week. What do you do if you're a defensive coordinator? What do you do? I got Claypool on this side. I got Darnell Mooney in right here on the inside running this wheel. My fast guy getting to the outside. I fake the hitch like I'm running the screen. So Justin pump fake it right here, right? Justin pump fake it like he's going to throw the quick screen, but instead of me throwing the screen, I got a guy running up the seam. So either way, the safety is compromised because who does the safety guard? Does he guard the seam route here, or does he try to get from over here? He's already compromised because he has Claypool. He has Claypool on the backside running a 9 route. Right? What does he guard? Who does the safety get to? What does he guard? So if he's already cheating, Claypool's on this side. He's already cheating this side because he don't want to get burned on this side. Then even if he makes it back to this side, who does he guard? Does he guard the seam, or does he get to the wheel route? What happens there? So how do you guard that? I called it all last week. I didn't see it, but I'm expecting to see it at some point because it's a staple. How do we block this up? You take you can do a number of things with the running back. You can have him come here, right? And then you slide your protection to the right and make sure you just got the numbers. Make sure we cut that guy, get him on the ground, get his hands down. By the way, this is not how you draft up plays. You don't start with the wide receiver route combinations first. For my aspiring coaches out there, never do that. Never start with the wide receiver route combinations. Always start with how you're going to protect it first. If you see anybody else on Twitter that on YouTube that drafts plays the way I do, if you see them draft plays without starting with how they're going to protect it first, they're a fraud. I'm going to put it out there with no shame, right? They're a fraud. You first start with how you're going to protect it. And that's why I'm doing it now, because I don't want y'all to think that's how you draft up plays. So how does the play go? You can fake the zone, put it in the running back's belly, and that'll hold your linebackers. Slide your protection right. Cut this guy right here to keep his hands down, right? So you can either throw the screen. So you actually set this play up by throwing the screen first, and then you coming back and you fake the screen and you hit this guy right here. This is your dude. You smoke that guy, right? This safety is not going to be able to get over top of this route and get to this guy. He has to pick his poison. And if he's already choosing and cheating over here, that's a touchdown. If he's over here, if he's cheating over to this side to the numbers, say he sees trips and he has to slide over here, then it's obvious where he's throwing the ball. You're going back here. This is what your coaches is looking for up in the booth. You're seeing how the safety's going to play this, and you're coming back to the sideline and you're looking at it on the touch screen, on the tablet, and you're saying, "Hey, coach, the safety's sliding over here versus trips. You throw this route or you throw the screen." If you come back and you see him sliding over towards the trips, you say, "Hey, coach, we got the backside go route, or we got a backside slant," right? You got a number of If he's going to cheat over there, you got a number of things you can do. You can do a post, right? You can run your whole route tree on the backside, right? You can get a dig. Where else y'all get this kind of stuff at? Who else is gonna break it down for y'all? Like if you just need a first down and you don't want to take the chances on the 9 route, if you just need a first down, then you come back and you just get the little quick hits right there. You got a number of things you can do on the backside if this guy is going to sit here and go over towards the trip side, right? Right. What you have to be mindful of is these linebackers dropping though. If you're going to come anything on the inside. So I didn't draft anything to the outside. You can come here. You got your whole route tree pretty much though. But you do have to be mindful of that linebacker dropping in coverage if you're going to come anywhere on the inside, right? They're not going to sit there and just let you play pitch and catch. This guy should be coming. This guy should be This guy should be coming. He should be floating back into his zone. So you do have to be mindful of this area, right? Just drafting up something for y'all so y'all can, know what they expect. If y'all like that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to put my little come on, mouse. I forgot to put my little Coach T's playbook thing in there in the chat. So drafting up something for y'all to what they expect. Do me a favor, man. Nobody does it how we do it on Chicago Bears 360. Do me a favor, man. Run those likes up and let me know what you're thinking. Real fast before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit of defense. I see y'all already jumping to it, so let's hop back to the comment section. Let's go back to the DMs, and we'll see what y'all talking about. My whole take about this defense is, guess what? I watched the game last week, and I kept saying this to Ville, who's in the comment section, by the way. Alan Williams has these guys in the right place. They're about 1 or 2 steps off from making plays. He has them in the right place. They're just 1 or 2 steps off from making the plays. So the first thing we need to do is we have to shore up that defensive line, their technique. They're open. They keep opening the gate. And what I mean by opening the gate is they see how my shoulders are parallel to the TV right now. When a run play starts, you can't turn. Opening the gate is turning your shoulders and facing the sidelines. Your shoulders, your breastplate or your back plate should not be facing the sideline as a defensive lineman. You have to be able to maintain your gap and keep your gate closed facing the line of scrimmage, right? So you have to be able to run with the zone play and close your gate. Close the gate as you're running. So you use your offhand, you use your front hand or whatever to close the gate versus defenders, right? So we've been doing a bad job of that in a lot. So if we can clean that up, that's going to help our linebackers be able to flow and make plays on the game. Jack Sanborn, Morrow, be able to get to the ball and those guys, right? So that's going to be the test for the defense because Allen has them around the ball, but a defensive line has to be able to keep the gates closed up front to allow those linebackers to flow and get to the ball. So that's something to look forward to on the back on the defensive end of it. And here's the thing. I don't want Alan Williams to go crazy with blitzes and all that other stuff right now. Just like Luke Getsy has to do, Allen has to see and make sure the foundation of his defense is established first, the foundation before he starts tossing all kinds of fancy crap on top of the defense, trying to stop the opponent's offense. That's when you get yourself in trouble. Make these guys be fundamentally sound first. The defensive line, keeping the gates closed, stopping the run, letting the linebackers flow. And then as they start growing in it, then like Luke, you start adding little wrinkles to your defense every week. Get your run fit. So I'm looking for that this week. Up front, can they close the gate and allow the linebackers to flow? And if they can start making just a simple make a small step in the right direction for that versus Detroit, who has pretty decent run game, then you'll start to see this defensive flow. On the defensive back, in the defensive back space, I like the fact that they're already or always in the right spot. They just need to be instinctive when it comes to their assignments, and that little step or half a step that they're off, they got to do the film work. The film work will allow them to be in the right space, right? To allow them to be in the right space and be a half step to a step faster instead of being there just as the ball is caught. They're there a little bit. They're faster to break up the play. So to see if they can make that step, the next step, and get there and make that happen will be the test today. And then the last thing I'll put it and I'll add is in situations, can Allen Williams dial up pressure in certain situations, not every third down, but in key third downs in the game where momentum could potentially shift, towards our favor. Can he dial something up and force Detroit to be off schedule or to get them off schedule in the appropriate times? Those are the keys for that defense to grow up. And I think we got 9 weeks, guys. I don't think, it's not unreasonable to ask for this defense to grow up in closing the gates and being better at being instinctive and punching the ball out, causing some turnovers in the next 9 weeks. That's like based off our old standards. That's almost 2/3 of a season based off of the old schedule season. They have that much football to play and to grow. And I believe if this defense can grow up over the next two weeks, this team could make a run. This team could make a run if this defense can grow up. Now I expect stay square. I like that, AC. Stay square. Stay square to the line of scrimmage. If this defense can grow up and if the offense can continue to evolve, I think we can make a run. I think we will continue to grow today and versus Green Bay, but I'm expecting at some point defensive coordinators may catch up to Luke potentially, or maybe not. There's the potential they might catch up to Luke's play calling at some point and us to hit a wall. But if we can continue to evolve and grow both on the offensive end and defensive end, we're going to see some things happen, potentially a run by this team that's going to get this, get this fan base started up. But great point. Gibson, Robinson, Muhammad is inactive. Robinson has to step up, no doubt. Robinson has to play better versus the run to make some things happen. I want to get some of these other comments in here before we get ready to close out here. I agree, Coach, this defense can play better. Yeah, they just, as AC said here, man, defensive line has to just stay square. And not important, just stay square. They have to run square. They have to be athletic and run square to the line of scrimmage, right? That's the whole purpose of zone plays. Zone plays is there to cause you to not be square, to open up your gate, to create running lanes for running backs. So they have to find a unique way to stay square to the line of scrimmage. And then versus teams' power concepts, which we've struggled with, I will say this about Allen. Allen has to find a way to to create compromise that other team's power concepts. How much time I got? I was going to draft something up for that. I'll do it on my next show. I'm going to show y'all how to stop power plays from a defensive standpoint, perhaps on the next show, especially if we continue to struggle with it. I'm going to show y'all how to stop that and still improving. What y'all talking about here? Man, please, I'd rather draft Fields. Man, please, I'd rather drafted Fields to see the line that got around him, right? I don't know what y'all, what bird, what Don in here? Don, you finna catch this L today, buddy. Through the O-line swell, the line swell was perfect. Pick you never hear this name. Don, I don't know what you talking about. But we gonna find out here in a second. Shout out to my guy Don Burr. Finna get ready to hold this L today, by the way. If we don't, we'll never live it down. But, you know, expect Detroit to Detroit. He's talking about Goff being a bridge quarterback. Oh yeah. I mean, dude has some skills. We can't act like dude can't play, can't throw the football. I think from a mental standpoint is where Goff gets himself in trouble. I don't think, it's all there. I don't think it's all there for your boy. Is it Goff the earth is flat dude? It might be somebody else. Anyway, shout out to Don. Little friendly rivalry in the comment section today. By the way, next week we got the Falcons. Your boy is going to do the show on Saturday because guess what? I'm going to be at the Falcons game. I'm going to be tailgating all morning, be my wife and family. So y'all know it's going to happen. So we're going to move the show up to Saturday next week. We're going to do 11 to 12:30. I'm a little bit over today. We're going to move the show up. We're going to be at the game next Sunday. We'll go out, have a great time with the family, and we going to represent. It's going to be the Atlanta takeover, Chicago takeover Atlanta next week at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I can't wait. We're going to be in the 100 section representing. So we finna get ready to get out of here. Do me a favor, man, as we get ready to go out there. Y'all know how I do it, man. Like, subscribe, hit the notification, share. If you're watching this on a playback, follow me on Bears. Follow me on Twitter at Bears360_Coach T. It's always great. Enjoyed the show with y'all, man. Good luck to the Bears today, everybody, and bear down. And we'll see y'all next week. All right. Have fun. Enjoy the game today, guys. All right. Bye-bye.